This is a video of a particularly difficult installation that we performed in Fairfax, California.
Good morning.
Here we are at the installation site. About a month ago, we came in and installed this concrete slab, and it looks like everything's ready. The fences are down, the trees are trimmed, and the house is on its way. So here comes the house through the streets of Fairfax. The pilot is making way so that people know we're coming through with something bigger than normal. It's a pretty slow process. We've got guys front and back on this one, and pretty soon we'll be turning into the neighborhood for the installation. This is the stretch of road where we installed all of our no parking signs several days before the transport. And it's a good thing because getting around in these tight quarters, there's no room for error. Now here we've arrived at the handoff point in which we're going to have a Caterpillar move in and help us get around a corner that would be completely impossible to negotiate without a full complement of equipment. This is where that jade that we installed back at our staging area really comes into play. Tim is going to move the remote control Caterpillar into position where he can pick up the house and be a lot more articulate than that big semi-truck that moved it this far. He will come around, and as he's coming around, there's another man in back articulating the rear wheels, so that the house can basically turn in its own radius to get around and into the street headed to our destination. With our street level problems successfully negotiated, now we're heading for the part where the real fun begins. The owners have been anxiously anticipating this day, and now it has arrived. They are still wondering how it is that we're going to get into the backyard. So it's going to be quite a bag of tricks that get employed here. Tim is handling the remote control and the cat, and up front they're still using the jade. They're needing to put mats down so that the wheels don't dig into the ground. And you can see we're traveling about 4 inches away from that fence on the left, and so it's slowly. Here at one point we were actually touching the eave of the house passing by. Now it looks like we're going to get by without any further anxiety, I don't think. Neighbors are checking out the progress. The next step is to move the house up onto the slab. There's a fair amount of preparation and blocking necessary to get it up and over the curb, and to make sure that we've got adequate plywood and blocking underneath all of the wheels, both of the Caterpillar and the jade, until we get up onto the solid ground of the slab. So you can see here how Tim can lift that ball way up in the air and get around all kinds of obstacles. And now he's going to swing it up until we are on the slab and pretty much parallel to the length of the slab. Now that the jade has done its job getting us around all those tight corners, it's time to remove it. And it helps us do that task by lifting off the ground so that we can get blocking underneath the house and roll the jade out from underneath the house and move on to our next phase, which will involve moving the translift, the machine in the background, up underneath the house. The translift can crawl underneath the house and lift it up with hydraulic scissor lifts and hold it securely in place so that we can now put the axles back on. We did leave 2 axles on, but we need another axle on so that the weight of the house doesn't crush the other 2. Here we are replacing the axles. The axles eventually will be taken off and recycled when the house gets placed on its permanent foundation. But for now, we still need this axle to help us get into position. We're going to roll it in with the help of the translift and some rollers. Now that the axles are back on, the translift can push the house slowly forward onto the slab. At the other end of the house, there is a roller that's been placed on the ball hitch that allows that end to slide forward as the translift pushes from the rear. We're getting close. In order for the house to move fully into position, we need to put down some aluminum I-beams and some rollers underneath the house so that the ball hitch can clear the end of the foundation. We can get this thing pretty much within about an inch of where it's going to finally sit by slowly and carefully positioning it. And there Roberto is working with Tim to get it located where he wants it. Once it's there, they put in these shims to keep the house from rolling unexpectedly. The house has now been successfully moved into position, and next week the crew will come in and start putting on the skirting and connecting the utilities.